I think I'm meant to stay with Elijah, not so much Elijah and prayer, as we've been looking at, but Elijah the man. The story, the Bible story, is focused now on one man. The nation has lost its way desperately. It's forgotten what it's on the planet for. They're meant to be God's special people. But now, Baal worship is the official religion for Israel. It's extraordinary. Only 7,000 didn't bow the knee to Baal. Only 7,000 in the whole nation of Israel are now true to God. And of course, Elijah is the key man. And the Bible's like that, actually. It's not a systematic theology with a kind of list of attributes. He says what you believe about God. He's omnipresent, and he's omniscient, and so on. Go through it. No. It's a book about people relating to God, and stories about men and women like Abraham, like Esther, like Ruth, like David. You see these people relating to God. So you and I, as individuals, can feel, I can relate to God. That's the whole deal. We can learn from how these people obeyed God, learned from God, and see how that will work for us. The Bible's a wonderful book like that. It helps us to know God personally. That's the goal. And so now the story is on Elijah, and Elijah isn't just out of step with a backslidden culture. I mean, Pharisees can do that. Pharisees can say, this is outrageous, it shouldn't be like that. We represent another morality. But that isn't what God wants. God doesn't want another morality. He wants people of faith and obedience. It's personal. It's relating to Him, believing Him, obeying Him. That's how it all started. Abraham believed God. He was a rich man. He was in Ur of the Chaldees, and God came to him and said, I want you to get up and go. And he went, not knowing where he was going. That's the way it started. And now Elijah has to be almost like another Abraham. He's confronted the king. Now he's got to model something new, a life of faith, a life of obedience. Elijah went to Ahab, actually not knowing what the exit strategy would be. He'd already been a secret man of prayer. He believed the rain would stop. He tells the king that. It's like saying to God, oh yeah, what happens after that? What's the exit strategy? No, you go and speak to Ahab. I'll tell you after that what happens. Wow, that's obedience. Then he confronts Ahab, and God says to him, right, now go and hide yourself. I guess that's not necessarily what he was looking for. One thing to obey and that lead to breakthrough, like David takes out Goliath, now he's Mr. Popular. Elijah obeys and he has to go and hide himself. That's not much fun. It's one thing to obey and believe, and that leads to some personal breakthrough, some personal visibility maybe, a ministry. No, go and hide yourself. Well, I mean, I stopped the rain. Maybe I should go on a national tour. Come and hear me. I'm preaching at Jericho next week. I may make the rain start. No. Ahab's got to learn obedience. Elijah has, rather, to learn obedience. He's got to just go as God leads him. He's going to come up to a day when, in front of the whole nation, he will call fire down from heaven. I mean, phenomenal. That's going to come. But there's some secret training first, some steps of obedience first. God is always looking for our personal obedience. And here it was, just go and hide yourself. Go to a brook. I've commanded the ravens. Boy, this is unusual. But he steps out in faith and obedience. Beloved, that's how it meant to be for every one of us. We're not just meant to join the Pharisees. We're not just to be religious people. God wants our lives to be lived in obedience and faith, step by step, in yours and my personal life. Yeah, in church, we do it with others, but God's looking for each one of us to say, yes, Lord, I want to obey you. I want to follow you. And against the backdrop, dear friends, of the terrible backsliding in our nation, it's going to take authentic Christianity to withstand this. Religion won't do it. People need to meet people who know God, who prove him, have stories to tell of how faithful he is. I want us to follow this story through. I'll speak to you again about him later.